Hello and welcome to Lesson Zilla. In today's video, we are going to look at Azure Active Directory terms of use. Now, this is a great feature that lets you share your company policies, legal disclaimers with your employees. Now, I will put the link to the official documentation in the description box below, and in here you can see all the things that you can do with Azure AD terms of use feature. So basically in this tutorial, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how we can upload a terms of use and how we can enforce it using a conditional access policy. So in this example, I'm going to make sure that my test user is prompted with a device usage policy, and the user will need to read through the device usage policy and accept it before he's given access to Office 365 online services. So that's the test scenario that I'm going to show you, but feel free to look into the official documentation and see what other things that you can do with terms of use feature as well. It's a pretty cool feature. Now, before we get started, I want to quickly talk about the prerequisites. You're going to need at least Azure AD P1 license in order to use this feature. Obviously, conditional access requires a minimum of Azure AD P1, and you need to be a global administrator or a security administrator or a conditional access administrator in order to enable this feature. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and see how this feature works. I'm going to log into portal.office.com. I'm logging in as the global administrator. I'm going to go into Microsoft 365 Admin Center now. And in here, I'm going to select Azure Active Directory. Click on Azure Active Directory. Scroll down and click on Security. Once you're in there, click on Conditional Access, and then under Manage, select Terms of Use. Okay, let's create a new terms of use. I'm going to name this as device usage policy. Okay, I'm going to upload the terms of use. Now, bear in mind that this has to be in PDF format, and Microsoft recommends that you use 0.24 as the font size so it is visible properly on all sorts of devices. So I'm going to select the default language. In this case, it's going to be in English. And I'm going to select the display name. It's the same as the name that I've given to this new terms of use. So display name is what the end user is going to see. I want the users to read the whole document. So I'm going to enable this setting. So I'm going to select on. Now in here, if you've got users who are using multiple devices and those devices are either Azure AD registered or Azure AD joined, you can make use of this feature, which essentially enforces all users on all devices to accept these terms and conditions or read this device usage policy before they are actually granted access to whatever the applications that you may decide to give them access to. So in this case, obviously my test environment is on Azure AD joined device, so I'm going to select on. And let's proceed to the next setting. Expired consents. I don't want to turn on this feature. And obviously, you will need a conditional access policy to enforce this terms of use policy. So you've got two choices. Either you can create it straight away from here, or you can create a conditional access policy later. I'm going to create a conditional access policy now. So I select custom policy and click create. Okay, so once the terms of use has been uploaded and saved properly, it'll redirect you to a new conditional access policy blade. Just give the policy a name. Okay, so I'm going to select users as you can see in here, you've got different choices depending on your requirements. Since this is just a test scenario, I'm going to apply it for just one user, which is myself. I'm just going to select admin, done. And this is where you select the applications that the user's going to have to go through, going to get access to once they accept the terms of use. So in this case, I'm going to select Office 365. This includes all online applications as well. So I've selected Office 365. As you can see, it lets you know what Office 365 entails to what it includes in here. Conditions, you can drill down into the device platform, the risk levels, the locations, and so forth. I'm going to keep this video simple, so I'm not going to go into all of this in this video, but if you are keen to use these conditions, you certainly have the option to do so. So let's click on grant access. Grant access is selected, and I want them to read the device usage policy, so select that, put a tick next to it, and require all the selected controls. And if you want to have multi-factor authentication, for example, we could do that here as well. But since I've enabled multi-factor authentication across the entire organization on a different policy, I'm not going to select that in here. I've just selected device usage policy. Okay, so click select and click create. It can take a couple of seconds. Seems like it's already been created. Let's go to policies, and you should see that policy showing up here in a couple of seconds. There we go. Device usage policy. My apologies, it's in report only mode. So I'm going to go back to the policy and actually turn it on. So let's click save. Okay, it should change to on. Let me just refresh the window. Okay, seems like it did not save last time. Okay, now it is on, as you can see on the screen. So that's it from a configuration perspective. So we have uploaded a policy document, and we have pushed it out to a user using a conditional access policy. Now let's try and log in as the user and see how it is going to look like. So I'm just going to minimize this window. I'm going to use a different web browser and log into my Office 365 environment. And log in as the user admin. Okay, it seems like this browser is not supported for some reason. Let's just try it from Internet Explorer. There we go. So when I went into Office portal or portal.office.com, it did not prompt me to log in because obviously it had saved my credentials. But this is how it is going to look when the terms of use is deployed. I've got the device usage policy, and if I try to accept it, it's going to give me an error. It'll say you must view the terms of use before you can accept. Select OK. So let's just go ahead and read the terms of use. And once you have completed reading, you can just click accept, and that should take you through to your Office applications. Wonderful. So guys, this is how it's gonna work, and this is how it's gonna look like from an end user's perspective. I'll quickly also show you if you're the IT administrator and you want to see how many users have basically accepted to the terms of use. You can do that by going back to terms of use window. Let me just quickly get there and I'll show you where you can see that. Okay, so we're going to Azure Active Directory, go back to security and click on conditional access, terms of use, and just select your policy and in here it'll show you how many users have accepted it, how many users have declined it, and it'll give you some history around the versioning as well. Now this should say 1 as I accepted it before, but bear in mind that it can take few minutes or maybe up to an hour in some cases for these numbers to update. So it'll update in some time. All right, guys, if you got any questions about what we did in this video, please leave a comment below and I will answer them as soon as possible. If you liked the video and learned something new, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I will be catching you guys with another video very shortly. So until then, have a great day, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.